Hello everybody, I hope you're well. Now for those of you who watched the Builder Destroys His Own Home series that we did last year, renovating my own home, you might remember this garden. Well, we're back and it's going to be a complete renovation for your viewing pleasure. Now what we're going to do is... Oh, Jesus Christ. You all right, Mick? Yes mate, yeah, it's in the garden. Yeah, no, I'm filming a like a new series. I'm doing the renovating the garden, so put it on the old YouTube. Who's going to watch that? I know, yeah, no one probably, but there we go. I'll do it for the love tonight. Running out of ideas, yeah. It feels like we're repeating ourselves, doesn't it? I said it feels like we're repeating ourselves. Yes mate, yeah. Anyway, what can I do you for? Richard? No mate, no, I haven't seen him. Why? No, I haven't heard from him either. His wife hasn't heard from him. It's bank holiday weekend. It's Tuesday now. No, last time I saw him it was Friday afternoon. I had to leave early, didn't I, to get the kids. No, last time I saw him, mate, he was in that cup. Oh no.
Where have you been? I've had to cut myself in paper and everything. Oh. So if you're wondering what all that's about, you might want to check out last week's video, which is on the screen now. Another beautiful summer's day in the UK. Wonderful, raining, down to about 9 degrees again, something stupid. However, it hasn't dampened our spirits to get something done. So I'll turn you around and I'll show you what we're going to do today. So while we've been enjoying our bank holiday weekend, the customers moved the water main that was inside, connected onto the new, the main that run through here, and put the water main outside, the stop tap outside, because later on in the episode you will see we'll be going through where the wall is going, which is sort of here, like this, level with this last flat roof rafter there, where the yellow marks on the wall. And then we'll be doing through all of this as well. So that's something we will be doing. So this is where the water main was. You may remember seeing in previous episodes, the lead went through the wall there. You can just about see it actually. If you go down there, just about see it in the screen just there, look. So that's where the water main was. And it come up here and it was a stop tap here. So that's all gone now. And what he's done now is he's run the cold feed straight through the wall into here. This is where the kitchen sink is going here. So there we are, that'll just come straight on the back of the units or come through the plasterboard wall, straight through the back of units, and then we'll just set it here somewhere. Boiler is in there in the downstairs toilet anyway, which I believe this is the current hot feed, which again will all be moved before we start insulating and what have you, along with these pipes as well, which are going to go up and over the top. Oh no, sorry, they are going to come along here and go up inside that cupboard there. So there we are. We've still got plenty to fill in here. We'll also, this episode, be taking all this floor up. That'll all be done. And we'll be getting this prepped to the same stage as this, albeit there isn't a saw pipe to do. So that'll be a little bit quicker. Matthew's going to be potentially plastering. Aren't you, Matthew? Marco's over there mending his cup because the inserts come out of his thermal mug, ain't it, Michael? Yeah. Look at that, just jobs you just have to do all the time. Your thug of a brother did it. Me thug of a brother? I trying to wash a cup, I dare say, in case something was growing in it. So there we are. We all know what's in that cupboard, and it's not me anymore. So Matthew will be in there and making all that good in there, ready for the manifold, which will be going the other side of that wall, and also all the central heating pipes the other side of that wall there. So there we are.
Don't lock me in there, because if I shout for my mum, she ain't going to come, she's not France.
It's a long way away to come, innit? amazing what you find in these holes, isn't it? I hadn't noticed it, but Mick and the customer were just looking and found. I mean, as a tradesperson, you know what I mean? Why would you? Hang on, there's some more here.
Yeah, it is.
My dad gave me a set of these.
Yeah, it's probably good.
No, they ain't my dad's now. I don't think he's ever been here.
Right under where you've got the others from, there's another couple there.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's ridiculous. I mean, like I say, as a tradesperson, you must think, I'm sure I've got a set of spanners somewhere. Well, there's nothing wrong with them. Unbelievable. What else have we got? Is that it?
Didn't we pull a sander out last week?
Say again.
Didn't we pull a sander out?
Sander, yeah. I mean, I don't think it was any good, but pull the sander out, yeah. So there we are then. Right then, we'll start getting the all the crap out, all the bits of wood out of here before we start backfilling it. And then we'll backfill this hole. And, well, what more can I say about filling holes? That's it. So the day's moved on, wrapping up a few jobs. You've already seen that the customer did this, so what we've now done is we put pea gravel. I meant to catch it and film it, but it all got done that quick in the realms of trying to get jobs done. I didn't catch it in time. So what we did do, we pea gravelled over the top of it, about 40-50 mil above the pipe, as you saw where the lead connector was, coming up the wall there. We then put some of the spoil back in that we dug out of it. We've then got some of this, these chip-ins, hardcore, the planing, sorry. Tamp that in nice and steady, and then Matt's just put a bit of mesh in there. We've also been getting material lists together to get this wall in. That is going to be done this week as well. Get a bit of a wall across there to get that ready for the doorway. We've been discussing the utility and kitchen plans and everything, so that's been quite exciting for me, as you can imagine. This is all gone now, and we're all base layered down. On top of this now, we have still got hardcore to go on. So we've got sand, concrete, insulation, screed. So we're at a point now where you'd like to be when you open the floor up, but we've literally had to fill everything. And as a consequence, you can see on the screen now, where there was a big pile of stuff ready for the next grab, it's all gone. It's all completely empty. Right, we've had a busy start to the day. We've already been and fetched the hardcore to put in the kitchen floor. We've still got a couple more ton to drop into there to bring it up to level before we start sanding, DPMing, etc, etc. But we'll do that and talk about that later on the episode, maybe next episode, when we actually come to start whackering it and doing the actual floor layer preparation. We'll go and talk to Matthew now, see what he's up to, and then we'll go into the garage and we'll talk about what Mick's doing. And then we'll talk about things we need to get done for the inspector on Friday. So let's go and talk to Matthew then, see what Matthew's up to. He's in, he's in Richard's cupboard.
Well,
What you're doing? Tell me what you're doing, man, tell me what you're doing.
what am I doing? Okay, so we haven't got enough to really dab a board on here because of the head and what have you. And so I've just started putting some mesh on here. And it's just to tie what Adam has previously done with the makeup nib here. So it's just making it good. And the only reason I'm putting mesh on there before I bond it and float it is it's just good peace of mind. It's just gold standard, just tie it in. Just, you know, it's quite a thick joint there, and I want to get both parts of the nib, new and old, tied in.
Just to stop any fine cracks, basically.
Fine cracks, yeah, settlement cracks and stuff like that. We know the structure is in the steel post next door.
Yeah, that's just
So
makeup, isn't it?
This is
We
makeup.
could have just stood, weren't we, originally?
Exactly,
But you said,
yeah.
just do that, I can mesh it and
I
bond
can
it.
mesh it, bond it in.
As you can see, Matt's just said about there's not enough room to dab there. There's probably 15 mil or so, and it's a bit tighter at the top, so there's no option there to dab, and even tighter at the top of there, look. What's that, Matt? You reckon 5 mil? Max?
If that.
That's all it is. So,
If that, and then it kicks out over where the lath is there as well.
Yeah.
So you can get bonding down really tight and it goes off like concrete. So
it does indeed, yeah.
It's just perfect.
Just looking at that, we have actually got some foam if you want. Oh no, there's been boarding to
It's been boarded.
All right, shut up.
So
Tell me to shut up.
Yeah. So
I'll leave you to that then. Come out your cupboard.
Thank you, mate.
And you can. I'm going to go and see what Michael's doing, shall I?
Harry Potter's cupboard.
Harry Potter's cupboard. Right then, let's go and talk to Michael and see what he's up to.
Well, I'm in the process of taking all this false step off that Richard said he'd screwed on, but actually nailed a lot of it on as well, so that was funny. And trying to unscrew a nail. We're going to use that beast there to to drill a pilot hole straight through at that level, right the way through both skins of brickwork and blockwork, so we can see where we are, to put a core drill back through 1.5 inches to take the waste.
For this utility, isn't it?
For the utility beyond
So,
me.
we haven't talked about this much yet, but there's going to be there's a American fridge going there, there's a flyover cupboard, and then there's a washer dryer here. We have discussed about the wall, which you will see in this episode, but obviously we haven't talked about utility cupboards and whatever kitchen layouts yet, because we're nowhere near that stage. So, as Mick's just said, he's put the pot out because he needs to find out where we're coming out, and we'll have a look downstairs now to tell you why we're doing it. We haven't really seen down here much recently because we haven't been working down here, and I think Ad did allude to the fact that it's almost like the forgotten hole. What we're doing now is, if I just show you with this, what the plan is, we're going to put that through there, up there like that. It's going to be knocked into the wall a little bit, about 20 mil or so, to get it behind the dab. That'll then become the waste from the utility. We'll come down this wall and then come through and into this elbow, into one of the sockets. Now, there's a reason we're not doing our normal and coming up with a soil pipe and creating an elbow like that and putting the socket in and putting it in vertical. And that's because we haven't got a lot of fall on this pipe as it stands anyway. Because as you know from probably first, second, third episode maybe, when we put the new soil pipe in over there, under here, this one, that runs all the way through out there somewhere, we'd only got a certain level we could stick to. As you know, it's got to be a certain angle for it to work correctly. So we've had to work back from that, hence putting this one in. This one's got to be tweaked and done anyhow. This is just dropped in temporary, to run a couple of temporary feeds when we were using the macerating toilet and the feed from the old kitchen, which is now gone. So what we're doing is that we should be below it, shouldn't we, Mick? But it was just to point it out to you, that was all, just in case. Yeah, sound. So that'll get chopped into the wall. So that's what Mick's doing now. He's just putting a pilot hole through so we know exactly where it is, this end, and then he'll core drill back through to allow a piece of pipe to go into and sit on the existing utility, old utility floor, and then we'll insulate over the top of that, screed over the top of that, and then it will then be the feed from there coming to here into a socket. Also, it will be a double 1.5 inch into there, so 32 mil and 40 mil, because we'll have a basin in here, because this is going to be a toilet under the stairs. Stairs are down here, and that'll be a toilet, cloak toilet in there, a door there, and that'll be a lovely little toilet. So that's what we're doing. We need to make sure we prep everything now so we're ready to go, because we are rapidly running into our first fix stage, which is always exciting. Still got a lot to do down here, as you know. We've got floors to do, we've got walls to put in, still going to talk about what we're going to do in terms of tanking. So that'll be an exciting episode for me anyway, because it's something I've never done before. We are going to involve a company, obviously, so we can get a warranty, because that's what you need to do with these. We can't guarantee it ourselves, so we've got to get a company in. So we'll look forward to doing that episode, and we can give you all the information that we get. Right, a bit of time-lapse there of Michael putting through the pilot hole, breaking the bricks, ready. We'll talk about that in a moment. What I'm going to go and do now is I want to go and talk to you with Matt, and he wants to Give you a little top tip, I think, Matt. Top tip.
Top tips.
Top tips.
Help the novice plasterers.
Not novice plasterers, or yeah, come on.
Anybody.
Anybody that fancies getting on the troll. I mean, let's face it, it's an easy job, isn't it? It's a numbers job, isn't it, really? Let's face it.
Well,
Now, before I've said that,
phrases.
I've said that because Matt's a plasterer, by the way. Don't plasterers saying, oh, they've got in them. I've said it because it's a joke, in-house joke, before I get the comments coming in. Just saying. Right, all we want to talk about is there's 2 different types of bonding, depending where you go. This is a grey one, or there's a pink one. Matt's explanation of this grey one is it's quite gloopy, meaning, Matt? Meaning what? Exactly?
Yeah, so if you know the consistencies of bonding, the pink type dries in a lot quicker, a lot better, a little bit like a browning would back in the day. Whereas this, with its consistency, a little bit more like a drywall adhesive.
Does it mean it holds the moisture a bit more?
Yeah. So what I've done, I've prepared this. It's I've laid it all on, got it how I wanted to. But to demonstrate what I mean is, for anybody taking on some plastering, some patching generally, and you're thinking, oh, it's going to dry in really quick, and I've got to keep working it. If you overwork thick plaster,
Meaning keep trolling it.
keep going over
Right.
it. Oh, I've got to get it flat. What you'll do is, if you can see there, as I say, I've done this on
Can you
purpose.
see that in the light? It's all gone all ripply.
And that's what it is, and I would call that, it's rolling. Some people call it slumping. Some people just call it really bad work.
Which it's no change for you, really. It's
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. So whereas up the top, where it's thinner and it's not had to be overworked, again, because this grey bonding holds off a lot longer.
Meaning it
than
doesn't
pink,
go off, yeah.
It doesn't go off. You've got a better chance of working with it if you're not quite as quick as, you know, other people.
A day-to-day plaster would be.
Yes,
yeah.
potentially. But, you know, you still got to work it. I like to obviously seal it. In previous videos when we've done the hints and tips, that slumping would happen, I think, in the loft room at Harbour.
Because it was a bit warm.
It was thick, wasn't it?
And it was rolling,
So,
yeah.
so I bond out a rolled ceiling, a rake,
Yeah.
so it doesn't happen with finish. So you can get it with any form of plaster.
Right.
It's
okay.
if you overwork and it's too thick for its kind of purpose.
So what would you say was the best thing to do if you're doing what you've done now? So this
Yeah.
is a makeup of, just to give you a bit of, if you haven't, earlier on I'll talk to you about it quickly. At the bottom it's about 25 mil, 20 mil, do you think? Makeup with bonding.
Yeah.
Got a bit tighter at the top, however there, because the block work was flat to the outside to bring the corner in, then the brickwork didn't line up. So again, it's about 25, 30 mil in that corner as well. And at the top, it's about 6 mil. So what would you say would be the best thing to do?
Well, obviously, first of all, don't panic. Don't think that you've got to overwork the plaster straight away. That's, you know, you haven't got to be on it every second. You can have a break. You can just feel it. You can come touch it, see how it's working. See that's still moving.
You can see it moving. You can see your fingerprints in it.
Yeah,
So.
that is. But if that does happen, just get a flat edge. I'll just use my trowel just to show you, and you can just take those high lumps off. Yeah, and that's where you can see where
That's
it's rolled.
to pull that lumps out. We can see all the
Yeah.
roll, top off the rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, and it will keep it level flat, and you can just work it down, and then you're just going to start to get back to square one, and then you can just leave that. And as it pulls in, you don't want to get rid of that. Leave that, because then as it pulls in, you can fill these extra bits where it's rolled. This is obviously if you've got yourself into trouble with a bit of rolling. As I say, I've overworked it for a reason,
Just to show it,
just so
just
we can show it.
demonstration.
Yeah. Now, if you're using the pink bonding, as I prefer that stuff, you wouldn't get that, because you'd lay it on, you'd rough it in.
In terms of get it in the hole, get it
Yeah.
to the point where you sort of need it.
Yeah. And then by the time you come back, especially on that sort of porous surface before,
And it's warm in here as well, isn't it?
yeah, it would pull in, and you'd just drop it up, you'd level it off, trail it up, and then you'd come back and it's pretty much gone off. Like the, because that's thinner.
Yeah.
Now that was a couple of mil thick, just where the rails.
The rails were, yeah.
So I've just flattened that out, just ready for skim, patched in the bits and pieces, but that's already gone. So that just shows you that, you know, I've overworked it on a thicker part.
So very quickly,
Yeah.
the one for me that I never understood
Yeah.
is you always polish it off.
I
Now,
do, yeah,
my understanding was when you put bonding on, you needed to leave a bit of a rough surface to key the plaster to. However, That's not the case, is it?
No, no. So I like to polish it off, because if you just leave it like that, you can see the roughness. Now some people would say that's a key, but all that's going to do is create an air pocket behind the skim.
Yeah.
So when you come and trowel up, you're going to have loads of little, you know, the far side of the moon pimples on it, which is the air trap behind it.
Right.
And it takes you longer to trowel that out.
So you're saying trowel this off flat as you are
Trowel
now?
it off,
No,
yeah.
don't polish it, because it won't polish anyway,
No,
because it's bonding.
it's bonding.
But you want to get it to smooth like that,
Yeah.
rather than like that.
Why wouldn't you want
And
to
then make it easier to
Why wouldn't
skim?
you want to be skimming onto something like that, which is paint?
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to something that's really rough. Just
Yeah.
make it easier because of those air pockets.
Nice.
You'd be there another 45 minutes taking out the air pockets on your last two trowels. Or,
And then you can over polishing, and then you still got them to put paint in it, don't you?
and then if you don't realise that's going to happen, you might walk away, close the door on it, come back, and it's like, you know, teenagers acne. Yeah.
Nice one.
Apparently.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you. I'm going to go and see what Mark has been up to now. So going back to what Mick's been up to, oops, tripped over some timber. What Mick's been up to, he's got rid of all this step. This is all temporary. This is make-up of timber, just to make sure we haven't got a big step down there. We don't end up falling over it. Because you know what me and Mick are like? Well, and Matt now, we all fall over. So what he's done is he marked off the floor a level line to make sure that when we pull the 1.5 or 40mm waste pipe through, that's going to come along here, under the insulation, fixed to this floor, and then go over here to where the utility is. We'll have a little bit of fall on it, but again, it's only water, so it only needs to turn a bubble to move anyway, especially when you're pumping it out with a washing machine. It's not saw pipe, it will move. So we've put it in the perimeter to allow us to then, if you can imagine, if you got your insulation like that, we can sort of cut it like that, and the pipe will sit in there against the perimeter of the wall. I hope that makes sense. And then what we'll do before we put the insulation over the top is that all gets foamed in, spray foam, and then we'll push that over the top, and it encapsulates all of the pipe then. It's all sealed. If it's in the middle of the floor, we'll show you what we do there, but it involves me doing a bit of a Michael Flatley. But we'll show you that if you didn't see it when we did Adams. So you can see there, look, there's a 40mm hole through there now. So if I go down here, this might make more sense now. So there is the hole that we put through there onto that floor level. It'll come down this wall now, into the floor at insulation level again, and go into the socket, which is there, into that pipe there, along with, like I've already said, the basin waste. And that's the how we're getting the waste down here. So there we are, that's what we've been up to. And while the lads have been doing that, I have been doing this. You may already know that you've got to put straps of some kind on your roof when you put a flat roof on. Now, because we were trying to get the roof all done and watertight, we could have put the flat standard, where are they? Let me show you. Talking about, I can just show you, can't I? Find one. We could have put these on, standard ones on, the flat ones, that's a bit bent, that one, on top of the wall plate, screw it into the top and then fix it to the wall. But because we wanted to get squared away and get done in the week that you watched us doing the warm roof, we missed the opportunity. However, it's not a problem. You can buy these twist straps, which, that's these, look, these ones like that. So you can fix it to the side of your flat roof rafters. I've put 3 number 10 or number 5 2-inch or 50mm screws into the side, 3 of those in the top. And then what you've got to do is, in your wall plate straps, you've got to do, from the bottom of your wall plate strap, you've got to come within 150mm of your strap for your first fixing. And then I base it on 1 every block then, depending on how long your straps are. I'll probably put 3 or 4 in there extra because we have got a cut at the top. I'll put 1 into the wall plate itself where it's twisted, just to pull that tighter so it doesn't get in the way for bonding. And then we'll put a few screws in there. Now, again, they have got to be minimum 50mm or 2-inch, number 10 or number 5 screw, depending where you are in the world really, because I used to call them 2-inch 10s. I think it's now a 50mm 5, which I've never understood why they changed it, but there we go. So you've got to, that's what the minimum you've got to use. Brain plug, 7mm for a brain plug, and then a 50mm or number 10 or number 5 screw, again, whichever you're doing. The upsetting part is we're a bit, this is on the double. Now, I'll put that at an angle there because if I don't, there's no point putting a wall plate strap on a small rafter, flat roof rafter like that. So I'm going to the side of the double, I shall bend it over and come down this way because it's better than trying to put it on there or trying to put a small one and cut it off above the window because it's only holding into a small block, so it's pointless putting them on. It won't work anyway if it did want to lift. Likewise, I put one here. Yes, there is a bigger span there than a metre, 1200 that you normally try to put them in. But is there any point in putting one there? No, because it won't work anyway. I've kept these the same. These are 1200 spacings, 400 spacings, so there we are. 4, 8, 12, I put one there. I've then gone opposite on this side, so I'm opposite to where I am behind me. And I'll put that there. I've got to put another one in the middle there, but I'm over the stairwell, so I have to wait now till we reboard that with chipboard to try and do the ceiling safely. I'll put one there on the side of the double, and then I'll put one here, likewise the same. I don't want to drill into the concrete lintel, so I'll put that on there and I'll just pull it across like that and get that fixed, a bit of an angle so I'm not drilling into the side of the block. And there we are. I've also done things like started putting the blocks in my steel to put the timber that I've already talked about onto there to hold up that we had to cut out when we put the steel in. So that'll be done, and that's it really for now. There's plenty more to do, plenty more hours left in the day. So I'm just going to find something else to do now. You're going to board the ceiling, aren't you?
Oh,
You're going to insulate and board the ceiling in there.
Insulate, boarded, get those new spotlights put through.
Nice.
Trying to get them in position.
Excellent. And then tomorrow you'll be full on plasters and stuff, won't you?
Catapulting pin con.
Excellent. And I'll be doing the stud work in there. Okay, so what you're going to see in the time lapse, I set my laser up, if you couldn't see that on there, to try and get as straight a line as possible to come down that wall, so at least when we start putting the pipe in, we're not fighting against trying to make it look like a snake in the wall. All Mick's doing now is a small mattocks, which, if I can stop you for a sec, Michael, because we love our tools. Now, we've both got the big version of this, for digging, when you're digging out, you know, this kind of floor and what have you. Excuse me. And Mick bought this by mistake, didn't you?
Well,
thinking it was the bigger version, but I can't believe how good it is.
It was a deceptive photograph, and there was no frame of reference. I wasn't holding it. It was just like that on the floor, and it looked like it was a big one.
A big one, yeah.
So I bought it. Had a great laugh when I unboxed it, thinking.
And we haven't stopped using it since, have we?
Well, I'll leave this here, and I've bought another one for home.
Yeah,
So,
great tool. So if you love your hand tools, that is definitely one to get in your arsenal. A small mattocks.
You'll think you'll never use
Is it classed as small mattocks, you know? Is it still say mattocks when you bought it?
I can't remember. It must have done it. I wouldn't have bought it. That's what I thought I was buying.
Of course, because we both got, like I say, we both got the big version that looks like a pickaxe size.
But
So
they've got that spade end.
yeah, spade end and the pointy end. Brilliant. So for this kind of thing, it's ideal. Excellent. Well, there we are. Thought I'd share our tools with you.
That's all cleaned up.
So that's what we've done now. What happened now is the hole that you saw Michael cut earlier, which is up there, you can see the daylight through it. We can now, when we're eventually ready to go, is put a solvent weld, push a pipe through there, elbow down this wall, sink it into the wall. We'll decide what we're going to do when we get to the DPC skirt level there. We might just have to bump over it and come down, maybe into the bathroom, come out and then down again, rather than breaching the DPC. We can have a look at that once we start getting the floor levelling and we know what we've got to do regarding the tanking. Because we don't know that yet, do we, Mick? What we're doing with tanking yet?
No, because neither of us have had any experience with this.
No,
stuff.
it's going to be a good one. This is my first basement, Mick's first basement, if all of us. So this is all new to us. We know it's got to be done. We understand the theory of it, but we've never been involved in actually creating or manifesting from the theory stage to the practical stage. So we're all looking forward to that, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that episode when we get to it, which I think I've already mentioned already. That's how excited I am. Have you ever seen a bloke any happier than Matthew is?
Happy to be here.
He's crap at singing, but his plastering's all right.
I'm no Luciano.
You're the same size as him. Right then, leave Matthew to it. Let's get his skim on. And we'll have a look what I'm going to be up to today. All cleaned out, ready to go. I'm going to start my stud work today. First of all, I'm going to set a 4x2 stud work up here to then bring me in level with my, I've got to go another brick on top of that level to put a wooden beam across there and stud work the internal. Because as you already know, this is obviously new, 150 cavity. This is existing, 0 cavity. So we need to get that level so it all comes across nice. First of all, get that structured. Then I'm going to come across them with a 2x2 frame across the face of this wall using some gyp liner clips. We'll go into that later on, what they are. But I'll get all this set, get it all ready to go. We will then eventually be cladding it in 12mm OSB to stiffen it all up as well as before boarding. But first fix is going to have to be done first prior to insulation as well. So we'll get on with it, put a bit of time-lapse on and get something done. Right then, you've seen on the time lapse, you've seen Matt doing a little bit of plastering there. We couldn't do all of it because it's quite narrow, so we just caught him looking at his best side, which is his back side, while he was doing a bit of skimming on that back wall. I'm going to use 2x2 on the wall because we don't want to create a stud too far out, because what we've got here, we've got the we've got an American fridge, and then we've got washer dryer, so we don't want to come out too far. So we've come out to the maximum we want to, and there's other reasons behind not wanting to narrow the doorway, and that is because we want a wide doorway for the customer to get down with his deliveries for his business he has at the bottom of the garden. And also we've got to allow for a cat flap in the side light, which is going down the side of the door. A cat flap has got to fit in the glass, so we've had to sort of think ahead even when we were building. Cat flap in the glass, frame size, door size, etc, etc. So this all hinged on what we're doing now. I talked about earlier about, or I haven't if I've talked about it yet actually, I can't remember what I've said now if I'm really honest with you, but we're going to use these. And what these are, you get them in boxes, and these are for gyp liner, which is actually metal studs, metal track. But I'm going to use them for this instance when I use 2x2. They come like this, they come in 2 different sizes I think, which gives you different standoffs to the wall. What I mean by standoff is when that's bent like that, fixes onto the wall, and you put your metal into there and it fixes into the side of it. Now, if you want to see this in a bit more detail, on the screen now is an episode that we did at a job in Womburn when we used gyp liner and all down the garage to do that job. So if you want to look at more detail, have a look at that. There's also a bigger one, which I think this is 75mm standoff, and I think there's 120mm standoff as well. Yeah, that's 75, so that, yeah, I have remembered right. It's 120mm, which means it stands off the wall more. So if you've got walls that are out quite a lot, then you'd need the bigger standoff, so they stick out a bit further. Right then, I'm going to do 450 centres all the way down here, and I'm going to use 2x2 like I've already said. So imagine this is my 2x2 now. I'll tell you what this is for in a second. I've set my centre lines on the base rail now. I'm going to get my laser, shine a vertical line. I can use this then when I've got the spacings on here that I want. You want to sort of stick to 800 maximum, I think, really, to be nice and sturdy. So what I'll do is I'll get these will be fixed onto the wall, and then at the intervals where the pencil lines are like that, and then the 2x2 will go in there like that, top and bottom. I'll pull this out to make sure it's upright and plumb, and then screw it into the side there to hold it, and that keeps it off the wall. Then also then gives me the correct depth from the face to the wall to put 50mm Kingspan in, which is what we're planning to use, and then insulated plasterboard on top of that. So there we are then. I hope that hasn't been too much death by time-lapse for you and you enjoy the music. This is now all complete. You can see the structure as I talked about now. We've used these clips, put the laser on, and this absolutely solid. It's not going anywhere. It's screwed to the top. It was screwed to the bottom first in the same line as the clips, working off my centres, which are down there. Because the clips are lasered on, they remain in the centre, and I've just levelled them up to make sure they're straight, because it's been 2x2, they have twisted a little bit, which is why I've used screws and not nails, another reason. So that's all flat, that's all perfect. These are all then measured as well to make sure they are true in terms of width from top to bottom. I have done, let me just come this way to excuse the glare from the light. I've done this 4x2 stud as well. I've done this at 400 centres, because it is for the garage. There's going to be a fire door here. I've got to put a little bit of nib there, and I've got to put the head on as well, but we won't do that yet because we have got to get the machine back in to do all the works or finish off in the garden yet, so there's no point, it'll just be in the way. This is going to be plywooded as well. This will probably get done both sides because we want the structure and the security from the outside as well. I haven't talked about it as yet. I just literally talked about these, I believe. You saw the bit of lath that I'd got. I just literally dipped it on top of the 2x2 at the bottom and then just got my drill and pick the point on the line, all separated, all spaced out nicely on the bit of lath, and drilled them, with the exception of a few where I've had to come up and down, because if it's hit a compo joint or the edge of a block, I've moved it up and down just because I want to make sure I get a good fixing, and believe me, it is solid, it's not going anywhere. What you'll see on screen now is talking about the DPC you can see on the floor under the timber. All I've done is, in both instances, the 4x2 one and the 2x2 one, is stapled the DPC onto the bottom. I've then set it onto the floor, drilled through, marked the floor, and then I've took it back up, got rid of the dust, put some silicone in the holes to put the plug in to seal the hole again, and also when I put the DPC back on top, the mastic then sticks to the hole that I've made in it and seals that back up again. So, with the exception that you can see now of this one, it's just where I've had to put some packers in as well, where my fixing points are and where my majority of my studs are, because this floor, because it was tiled that side, moulded it into here, and it wasn't flat, because garage floors are never flat, they're not meant to be. It's designed so if you have any leaks in your garage, i.e. from petrol, it runs away. That's the idea. That's why you don't put garage floors in flat. Whether they do now, I don't know, but you never used to. So this is all complete. So now we are moving on to the ducting. The ducting is going in this natural space for us, which was an old chimney. So we've chosen to put that through there. And what you can see on the screen now is, initially we put a pilot hole from this side to make sure we can mark from the outside, which worked perfect. Then what we did is Matt jumped up and he did a bit of a crosshairs to mark his centre. Then what we did, we got the pipe that we're going to use, which in this instance is a 6-inch. We marked round it with a bit of pen, so it's all visible for us. Then Matt got his multi-tool out with a bit in it that's meant for sort of like getting tile adhesive and that car adhesive and rough, rough stuff out really. and then marked all the way around the circle on top of the pen to allow the end of the drill bit, as now you can see him stitch drilling, to drop into that groove without it bouncing and going outside the lines, if that makes sense. Stitch drill it all the way around and then clean the hole up a little bit, and see now the pipe went in perfect. So what we're doing now is, if I can find the piece we have already started, where have I put the piece we've already started, Matthew? Oh, here it is. So what you can see now is, we will try and show you more in a minute, but it's very difficult to film up there. Up periscope. What the idea is, the white pipe that you can see, it's come through the wall. Sorry, the camera cut off then. This bit of a make-up now, the white pipe will go into here from outside and then come down and around the steel and then back up and into, if I just show you, up here. So you imagine that's gone into there, push the white pipe in, it comes down, around the steel, and then back up into this void here. We'll then attach the flat to the underside of the ceiling and run it over, all the way over then, because we've got a series of 90s. Although we'll try and use as little 90s as possible, because it is always better and more efficient if it's as straight as possible. However, you've got to do what you've got to do. But at the moment, it'll be straight across here, and then a 45, 45, or a 90. I think we've got a 90 or 45s in there. And then I think it's about here. So we'll end up being there. Then what we'll have, again, fixed to the ceiling. All this will become apparent, because I'll show you in a minute once it's all done. Put a bit of a time-lapse on. That, as it is there, that round, imagine that now, straight, fixed to the ceiling. That will then poke down. When you look up, you'll be able to see it. And we'll attach a flexi ducting onto that to drop into the extract, which is above the hob, which is going to be here in an island. Right, sorry about that, we've had to stop the time-lapse because we had a quick look at it. Even though I've left it on, you've seen it, it doesn't look very clear, so you can't really see what we're doing. I will show you a bit more footage in a minute when I get there. I'm going to get my hand on and put it up so you can see what we're doing. But ultimately what we're doing is, we're going from the corner over there, which you can see off screen, to the right hand side. And we've come through that, worked our way back from the pot that went through the wall. We've come across, we've put the clips onto the underside of the existing floor, and our last one now is to put this one on, which will then bring us across here and into this bay, which where I'm standing is pretty much the island. So we're going to be stood here now. This will come across and we'll put this piece in. So if I just get this in now, out the way, and what we can do with that is put it into the coupler, which I've already got on there and gunked in. And then this bends round then, and we can clip it into the brackets that are already in place, which I'll show you in a minute, and we're all done. This is all in place and ready. So you can see there, it's all up into the round hole. Well, you can't see the round hole, but that is all taped, all the bends, it goes up and around the steel. So, and we've dropped lucky there, it's right just inside the plasterboard line there. All the joints are taped. There's our first clip there. We'll probably get some, or we will get some all band on there to hold that up, because we can't get a clip on because the coupler's right next to it. They have to go on first, so you have to make sure you line them up right. That's a coupler there to join the two pieces of this together. That's all taped again, and we've actually gunked that one to the top of the joist as well. Again, this is another bracket.
Bro,
I'm trying to film here.
all right, say no.
Right, after that interruption, I'll show you what we're going to do now. I think what we'll do now is we'll get the this all band now, and we'll wrap this around the pipe, which will then support the pipe then. Oh, what the? Matt, turn the tap off! Matt, turn the tap off! I think we've got a bit of a problem. I think we'll leave that episode there. I hope you all have a good weekend, and well, I'll see you on the next one.